Now, how should a brand respond to that is the question. Uh, if I look at most of the brands which are actually trying to build something store by store, there's already a huge challenge of how do we actually increase the in-store revenue. And it's a tough question to answer because there's diversity, there's a lot of different, every geography gives you a different response. There are so many choices available. A lot of international brands have come into the country, so there's a lot of competition as well. And on the other hand, what you hear from the market, from your own people, from consumers is that I get a 30% off or a 50% off online. So I might check something out in your store, but I might go and buy it from one of the online retailers. So that's a question which even we as a brand have actually struggled with. We've looked at our strategies and we've tried to work out our strategy to take this kind of market into account and still grow. To kind of give you a better picture, I'll just tell you about what our venture is and what we do and how we do it. So we're donebynone.com, and we're a fashion brand. We're a label which is very fresh. We just came to the market 2 years back. We design our own clothes. We're in the fast fashion industry. We do Western wear for women, mostly an urban taste. So we're trying to build a fashion brand for young Indian women, and mostly urban. Our current customer base is mostly urban. So unlike most of the other brands, what we've done is we've started with our own portal. So our first customers have come in through our own portal. We sell directly to our consumers. Since we look at our brand in a long-term point of view, our view from the beginning was to not discount. We did not want to grow on the promise of discounting to our consumers. So we want to sell full price, and we want to sell to our consumers directly. So we faced pretty much the same issue when we started, that the online marketplaces, coming out with aggressive discounting would, my consumers would start expecting the same from me. So the answers we found in our own journey is what I can share with you. So in this kind of a market, the first response that we had was that this kind of discounting is not sustainable. No business can keep making losses and keep growing. However, we've been proved wrong on that thought. For the next 2 to 3 years, the large players are capitalized enough to continue this kind of unviable business discounting. So that's a market reality we have to take and factor in to what we're doing. So we started finding answers within our own brand, within our own customer base, and these are some of the answers that we found. The first thing is that Indian consumers are price sensitive, and when we talk to our consumers, what they tell us is that higher price is not equal to a better value or a better product. So consumers today are aware of what your product is worth, and so you've got to price yourself very cleverly. Now, if you look at ASOS's last year's annual general report, so they're a brand which has been around for 15 years, and they've been trying to sell their own label and grow a share of their own label sales. So what they've discovered is that the first price that you go out with, and I'm talking more from fashion point of view, the first price that you go out with, if that price is correct, you will actually require lesser discounting over the life cycle of the product. So they call this the first price, right price campaign. So, and that's what we've also discovered in our business, that if we price our products right at the time of launch, we see a much faster movement and actually a much lesser need for overall life cycle discounting. So figuring out what is the right price of your product at the first time is one escape that or is one workaround that you can have to giving discounts. So what happens with online shopping as against, let's say, offline shopping, and especially fashion, is that there's a lot of impulse purchase which happens. It's not a considered purchase category. It's not like she researches, she does 4 comparisons across portals and then she buys. A girl is on Facebook, she's also in her office at that time, her boss gave her some work to do. She would open a Facebook page, along with that, she would discover a few products shared by some of her friends, and she would go into one of them, like them, and she'll just make a purchase right there. and the payment is cash on delivery. So there's a lot of impulse purchase. So if she sees the right price, the right product, the right mix of stuff, she doesn't go into a mode of searching for discounts. She actually places that order right away. So pricing it right at the start of the product itself is one thing which we've seen reduces our need for discounting and actually gives us sales despite there being a market of the kind we're talking about. Another interesting thing is that given the way the market is consolidating and moving, there's something which I usually say that in the world of e-commerce, there are no men. There's only giants and there's pygmies. So either there's 80-foot tall men or 4-foot tall people. There are no 5-foot 10-inch human beings. Because the large guys are on a land grab model. They're extremely capitalized. Their winning bets are capital and scale. And they've got unlimited potential in both. So maybe 50 people go for that game and 3 survive. But you've got to choose upfront whether you're in the giant game or the pygmy game. If you're in the pygmy game, then your choice is to figure out your own niche, your own tranche. Build your own tranche, dig your own tranche, go deep into it, and make sure that the giant can't enter.
Sure. No, I think that's a good point that you've made.
So that's the other response we found. That's the other opportunity we found to actually, beat this discount market. That we've got to find our own niche. What kind of a girl likes my brand? What kind of a girl relates to my brand? And when she hears about me from 4 other people who are of that type, then the brand becomes really strongly embedded in her psyche. So I've got to find my own TG. I've got to find my own little niche, and I've got to dominate that. I've got to keep getting deeper into it. For example, we've got into women's fast fashion and for young urban women. So when we started growing our brand, we said that we're going to focus on density, not on scale. So if I'm starting with Delhi, the first people we got onto our site for the first 6 months were only 23 to 26-year-old females from Delhi NCR. That's it. First 6 months, my entire marketing budget was completely on that set. So within that little set, one is that word of mouth started going around. The second thing is my entire buying, my purchasing, the learning of each of the people in our group. Everybody was learning from that same small TG. So suddenly, for that, even to this day, because we've started like that, that particular TG finds me very relevant.